We begin tonight with criminal injustice in Mississippi. MISSISSIPPI, I can say it, y'all. An investigative piece published by ProPublica revealed some defendants, quote, deemed poor, went before judges in one county, but didn't get a lawyer. It's law that you be appointed a lawyer if you can't afford one. We all know that. Even from TV, we know that. But in Yalobusha County, legal counsel was provided for only one of every 5 defendants. The Mississippi Supreme Court has issued rulings to try and improve procedures, but nothing seems to be changing. We have to understand this. So I have joining me Caleb Bedillion. He is the reporter for the Marshall Project who wrote this investigative piece for ProPublica. Caleb, welcome to the Griot. Good to see you. Help me understand this, because this is mind-blowing. First of all, I have to ask this, although I probably don't have to ask this. What was the racial makeup of the defendants who were denied legal representation?
Right. So in most cases, court records didn't provide enough information for us to absolutely determine the race of the defendants. But Mississippi's racial outcomes are highly disparate for Black defendants throughout the criminal legal system in Mississippi.
Help me understand how this gets justified. If you're a judge and there's an indictment for a defendant who is unrepresented, how does a judge make sense of this? How does a judge allow this to fly?
Yeah, so in Mississippi, we've historically really had this problem with a lack of representation during this period of time before an indictment. So you get arrested. In Mississippi, you have to be indicted before a prosecutor can move that case forward, so they have to take you before a grand jury. But there's no deadline for that to happen. Some states may be a deadline. The DA has to get an indictment within 90 days or 60 days. Mississippi, no deadline. So you get lots of people that are kind of stuck in this pre-indictment period, but they've been arrested. In some cases, they're in jail. And so our courts have been just historically not good at providing legal counsel during that early phase. And the piece in Yalobusha just underscored that. 20%, national rates are more like 80% of defendants are indigent. A lot of those defendants, it would appear, actually did get lawyers later in the process after they've been indicted. Evidence has gone missing. Witnesses gone missing. A lot can happen if you don't have a lawyer working.
I was going to say, getting a lawyer eventually is great, but having a lawyer early on seems right. It seems necessary. It's part of how this process, how this so-called criminal justice system works. And of course, as you point out, it's a criminal legal system because it ain't a whole lot of justice in it. I mean, if the Supreme Court can't enforce its own laws, families, defendants, they're left with very little options. I have to run, but can they go to the DOJ? Can they go to the Supreme Court ultimately?
I mean, certainly you can ask the DOJ. They are looking at multiple legal issues in Mississippi right now, including police forces. What DOJ looks at is up to them. There have been litigation in Mississippi and other counties on similar issues, so that's a possible outcome here.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Caleb Bedillion, thank you so much for reporting this.